Hello, good evening, and welcome to Thingamajigs Racing channel. We are back again with the Ultimate Racing League, our Sunday evening fastos for the GRSC Season 1 League of Champions Round 8. We're at Suzuka, ladies and gents. We are at the Far East where the sun does rise, I believe, doesn't it? There is a house in the rising sun. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, we're at Suzuka for another 2 blasts of the League of Champions races. And round 8, man, we are fast approaching the end of this championship. It is getting absolutely tight as a knot in the league. And it's going to be a big one for those that drop and those that can win. And I still think there's a couple of people in with a shout. So, looking at the championship, well, you know, we're at the Ultimate Racing League. It's the Group Racing Sunday Championship Season 1. This is the League of Champions. They have like 5 or 6 leagues running on a Sunday evening, all at the same time, using differing cars, but the same model car in each league. We're covering the top league of all of them. They're using the Nissans. And after 7 rounds, the championship is looking something like this. Toby is at the top on 238 points, but I do believe Toby will have to drop points at the end of the season, whereas the guys below him have all missed a race, so they will not have to drop points. So there may be a gap between Toby and the rest of the field, but I'm telling you that gap isn't as big as you think it is, because Toby is probably going to have to drop a good sort of 30 odd points, I think. So Toby's at the top on 238 points. Then we've got Bailey in second on 192 points. Osman is third on 175 points, with Victor in fourth on 160 points. From last week, Smith's moved up from 6th into 5th on 154 points, only 4 points behind Victor. They're teammates, so that's an inter-team battle we've got going on there with only 6 points dividing them. Brisbane dropping down to 6th after missing last week, and he's on 135 points. He's just ahead of Fitzy, that moves up from 8th into 7th on 132 points. Unforgiven is in 8th, who's jumped from 10th on 131 points. So Brisbane, Fitzy and Unforgiven very close together in the championship. Grasshopper is in 9th on 126 points. Toten from 7th drops down to 10th on 124 points. Still, every point counts this season. Dirkview is in 11th on 81 points, with Neil Farmack in 12th on 76 points. Neil Farmack has been on an absolute push after missing a fair few rounds mid-season, well, right at the beginning of the season. So he is coming back to save himself from a demotion, and he's doing a fantastic job of it. Kenny D in 13th, up from 14th on 55 points. Muhammad Ali drops down to 14th on 47 points. Wacky Racer is 15th on 25 points, with Kaloum in 16th on 24 points. But Wacky Racer and Kaloum have missed a rather lot of the championship. They are also representing in each league 2 drivers representing a team, which these teams have been picking up the points, and we have the other championship, I like to call it. So at the top of that, we have the Touring Cars representatives, Team 3, on 1,557 points. In second place, we have the F1 Benetton team, Team 1, on 1,394 points. In third place, we have the Martini team, Team 8, on 1,238 points. In fourth place, we have Team 5, the NASCAR representatives, on 1,163 points. In fifth place, we have Team 2, the WEC representatives, on 1,144 points. They are closing in on those NASCAR drivers. Just watch out. In sixth place, we have the Red Bull team, Team 7, on 1,096 points. In seventh place, we have Team 6, Iron Forge, on 984 points. And in eighth place, we have Team 4, Liquor Molly, on 948 points. No teams moved from the week before, so everything still as it was. I think that's it. I've done this before. You may know or you may not know, but yeah, I've been through all this before, and I did think about doing a hack and just saying, screw it, we'll just start from where the race begins and you can watch the other video. But what will happen is I'll delete the other video and this will now be the video with the races involved instead of Kaz thoroughly doing me over with that server maintenance. Right then, so I think that's everything. I've told you the tables, I've told you it's round 8, we're at Suzuka. I must say, there's days where I'm feeling rather slack. There's days where I'm just, my gaming is not on point. I am not getting those kills to death ratios that you need to get to be the ultimate gamer. And again, with racing, I'm not hitting the apexes as tidily and as neatly as I would like. And do you know what this is down to, ladies and gentlemen? It's down to focus. Focus. Now, if you need a hack in life to make your focus better, drink Dubby. That's all I'm going to say on it. Drink Dubby. And if you're feeling a bit hot under the collar, also get some Eldritch air conditioning in your life. You need it. Let's have a look at the grid then for round 8 of the Ultimate Racing League. I'll get there. Sorry, guys. On pole then, we have Bailey. Bailey on an absolute comeback. He is here to stop the Toby. Bailey is out and out, throwing everything he's got in the last couple of rounds at this championship, and he's starting at Suzuka on pole. And this will make Bailey's pole number go up to 3, I believe. He had a pole at round 2, a pole at round 5, and a pole now at round 8. So 3 poles for Bailey so far this season, which is the equal number of poles that Toby has had. Do you see it happening? Oh, Bazza in the chat saying, good afternoon, buddy. Have you finally made the decision to go pro in commenting races, commenting on races? Seems like you don't do anything else. You must have a great wife. She's not bad, She's not bad, but life carries on. I have to try and ignore things that are happening around me. Yeah, like my dad in the kitchen trying to distract me because he comes to visit and I've got to do a stream. So he's decided he's going to try and go all out to try and distract me from this, which is going to make me so moody. So in second place, we have Neil Farmack. And then in third place, we have Brisbane. He returns. I don't know if he's going to have championship hopes at this point, but you never know. You never know what can happen. You've got to be in it to win it. But Brisbane is representing. Then it's all the way down to 4th. Toby, our championship leader, who I must say, he has won the last 5 sprint races not from pole, but the last 5 consecutive races. Toby has won the first race. So that's a record that there's 3 other people trying to break here. And I don't know what Toby's plans are for this race, but down from 4th place, it's going to be a tricky acquisition to try and make that 6 wins in a row. In 5th place then, Victor, strike 1 in the Smith versus Victor battle. Victor qualifying in 5th. And another interesting fact for Victor, in the last 5 races, he has been on the podium. 5 consecutive races we have seen, not races, rounds, sorry. In the 5 last consecutive rounds, Victor has had a podium in one of the races. So Victor going great guns at the moment and is a force to be reckoned with. Good luck, Smith. In 6th place, we have Toten, who was not representative last round, but he is here to make his mark and help Brisbane. He needs to take points off of big boys for Brisbane in Brisbane's championship hopes. What little ones they are. In 7th place, we have Fitzy, which in the last stream, if you ever saw it, I got him totally mixed up for Smith. But this time, that's Fitzy, ladies and gentlemen. Fitzy is only one of 5 drivers this season to take a win, with Osman, Brisbane, Bailey and Toby. So Fitzy if nothing else comes out of this season, he can say he won against some of the best. He's sitting in 7th, and he's trying to get ahead of Brisbane in the championship. So Fitzy's campaign continues on from 7th. Then we've got the Smith in 8th, and his qualifyings have not been of great lately, but his finishes have been strong. So not quite on the podium, but just knocking on the door of podiums. And remember, he is in an absolute battle with Senor Victor, his teammate. There's 6 points between them and 2 cars on the grid. So big jobs for Agent Smith. He's got to dig deep. He's got to really find that extra 10th or 2 come this end of season running, because it's really starting to heat up, if it hasn't already, all season. Then in 9th place in the touring car representative vehicle, we have Unforgiven, recently qualified, promoted into this league, and he's held his head extremely high during it. Qualified 9th at the moment. Unforgiven in an absolute huge battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe 9th in the championship. Toten in there as well, 10th. So there's lots of movement. Like we said, Unforgiven jumping 2 places in the last round in the championship. So it's very tight where Unforgiven sits in that championship. He's got a lot of pressure coming into this race. 10th on the grid, we have the F1 Benetton representative, Grahamad Ali, and it is down to Grahamad that we get these. Let me go around this side, because that the petrol tank ruins Mild 7. There you go. The fuel things. So Grahamad Ali is a huge thank you to our man Ali here that we get these replays. He saves them and shares them on the night without delay. I might be a week late, but Grahamad Ali was there when it counted. I had a hangover on Sunday night. That's why we didn't get a stream. And then we have Kenny D. He's in 11th, so I don't know what's gone wrong there. His qualifying point is usually rather strong, and he's been finishing these races in the mid-pack. So Kenny D, I suspect we're going to see him shuffling during the race. Right then, race 1. Soft tyres, lights to flag, no faffing, just racing. And it's coming up right about now, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Bailey leads them away ahead of Neil Farmack and Brisbane in the mix, and it's Bailey floors it as they head towards turn 1, where they carry extreme speed into the first part and then have to kill it mid-corner to make it to turn 2, and there they all go, and Bailey doing a super job keeping them all at bay. Neil Farmack keeping a close eye on him, but Brisbane is closing in. Brisbane very much closing in on Neil Farmack, with Toby also in the mix. And Victor right in there as well, on board with Victor on this first few corners, as we see them trailing through the S's there and up over the hill, trying to build that speed, and then it's full force all the way down to the Degners. I don't like using names, just in case I'm wrong. So Victor, then Toten, Fitzy ahead of Smith, still Unforgiven in 9th. Kenny D has got himself ahead of Grahamad Ali, and at the moment Bailey, like we saw last round, he was driving like a man possessed. He had one job to do, and he did it extremely well. And here again we are seeing Bailey driving in another zone. Neil Farmack trying to stay with him in his Nissan, and Brisbane also trying to stay in the fight here. Now we've got Toby under pressure from Senor Victor, and Toten also in the mix, and Victor there is eyeing up Toby. Toby not getting the pace around Suzuka in the Nissan like we've seen all season round. He's not releasing the speed like we've seen before, and Victor now is becoming a rather significant presence in Toby's life. Who would have thunk it? Toby going through the 130R absolutely masterfully as Bailey still leads from Neil Farmack, but Neil Farmack does look like he's closed in somewhat to Bailey, with Brisbane there in third, staying in touch. Toby in fourth, Victor in fifth, then we got Toten in sixth, Smith in seventh. Trying as he might, trying to close in on Toten. That is points. He needs to get to his teammate ahead. Unforgiven moving up a position. No, did he start in eighth? No, he started in ninth. Fitzy, unbelievable Fitzy. We've lost Fitzy for some reason. He's dropped back quite a bit. I don't want to go back and have a look at his pain and anguish. There's no need for it, is there? He probably would rather we didn't. So Fitzy out of the equation for the moment. I don't know if he's going to be able to get himself back into the fight. It's early doors, 13 laps to go. It's, well, not now, but 13 laps on the board. And we're on the second. So there's still a fair few laps there. You do the math. 12, 11 and a half. So Bailey then leads. Neil Farmack dropping away now, and Brisbane being pushed along by Toby. They're releasing themselves away from Victor. Victor not quite staying in the fight, and Toby now taking the fight up to Brisbane, whom is starting to hound Neil Farmack. Toten in sixth, Smith then moving up a position, only one car between him and his teammate, and he needs to be ahead of his teammate, but Unforgiven looking rather racy behind Smith at the moment, and Unforgiven maybe looking after his tyres early around Suzuka, as we can visually see. So I believe the track probably is rather cool, and these tyres should last for a good fair few laps yet, until we start seeing slippery Nissans. Grahamad Ali in ninth ahead of Kenny D. So Grahamad Ali going great guns, and Kenny D still not managing to find the je ne sais quoi you need for Suzuka. Fitzy in chase, so maybe he will be in this race still. Bailey crossing the line to start his third lap, still leading from Neil Farmack. The gap isn't as big as you would think. Brisbane slipping back now, and Toby flicking the car out, having a little look. Now he's closed really in on Brisbane. There's been contact, and Brisbane still holds strong. But yes, Toby letting Brisbane know, hello, rubbing is racing, my friend, and I am here. I am here for that position. I have a championship to protect, and Toby very much aware of Bailey running away with this one, and Toby will not want to relinquish control of this championship this late in the game. So Toby all up and in Brisbane's business. Brisbane though, he got the message loud and clear. The knock up the back has helped him, and Neil Farmack slung that in. I thought he'd lost control for a second, but no, Neil Farmack is on top of his Nissan, and ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, he is slinging it. We've got movement again. Toten slipping back. Was that a penalty of some kind? So Toten ahead of Smith. No, just a slight wide on. And yeah, Toten getting a slight wide on, turning into a huge wide on, and that puts Unforgiven and Smith up positions, and now Smith can clearly see his teammate ahead of him, and we got another slippage. There was a car slinging there. It wasn't Smith, was it? Who was it? I think that was one of the top cars. It wasn't Bailey. Who was sliding around? It was Victor. Victor losing control. It was Victor, and Smith goes through. Smith rewriting the script, ladies and gentlemen, and he goes through ahead of his teammate, and Victor struggling with grip on lap 3. Early doors for grippage to be an issue, and Smith goes through. Unforgiven would love it, and I think Smith slightly would as well, not for his team but for his own championship aspirations, and Smith now has to make this one stick. He has to get a grip of the Nissan and move himself away from his teammate, because we know Senor Victor does not play. He does not play, ladies and gentlemen. He is a menacing force on track, and Smith knows it. Unforgiven then trying as he might to get by, and Toten sitting in 8th ahead of Kenny D, who's got himself ahead of Grahamad Ali. Looks like Grahamad Ali is having issues at the moment getting through those through the Casio and the final corner, and now Fitzy is all up and in his busyness, looking for a late break into the very fast corner. Grahamad Ali on the brakes, keeping the Nissan sturdy. ready as they knock it down to third gear, clinging onto the apex, releasing the car, and Fitzy makes a beautiful move into the S's. Fantastic stuff from Fitzy, and now he is setting chase for the Kenny D, who's lost the track altogether as Kenny D lost the track. That was a very bizarre moment. I don't know if he's having some software problems in the car. He's bashing buttons and trying to get it working again, but it looks like there is definitely issues in that Nissan. Bailey, meanwhile, absolutely pounding the tarmac, as you would expect, like the beast that he is, running away with this one, ladies and gentlemen. Brisbane's up ahead of Neil Farmack. Okay, everyone calm down. Oh my God, it happened a century ago. It's old news. But there we go, this is the move, and that's Brisbane moving up on the inside of Neil Farmack in the first corner, and Toby does not want to let Brisbane get too far away, and Toby also queuing up behind the Farmack, but Brisbane now released into that huge open space that we call the rear of Bailey. And down here, Smith still holding strong against Victor, and Unforgiven is starting to give Victor food for thought. Is Victor hungry, though? Does he need the food for thought? I thought I made a coffee. I was so excited about getting on with the stream, I did not make myself a hot brew. Can you believe that? Unforgiven then, closing in on the Red Bulls, as Smith at the moment tries to maintain control in that team and get himself some much needed points, heading himself towards Victor in the championship. Toby, meanwhile, fourth will not do. Fourth will not do in this championship campaign, and he knows it. And Neil Farmack, though, a thorn in his side. Neil Farmack just trying to stay above a demotion after missing a few rounds, trying to stay in the League of Champions, and taking points off Toby hurts Toby so much more than Neil Farmack, I tell thee. Brisbane, he's got to start putting in some super laps if he wants to catch up. Sir Bailey so far at 59.4 that last time around, and he is absolutely beast mode again. He's continued from round 7 into round 8 in the same methodical acquisitions he did in that round. He is killing it. Brisbane, though, doesn't want him to get too far ahead. Neil Farmack holding ground, at least wants a podium for his trouble, but Toby needs those points. Toby's need could be bigger than Neil Farmack's here, and it's about who wants it more, with Smith still ahead of Victor. I thought Victor with the speed in qualifying. Oh, Victor again on the curbs and having an absolute nightmare on board with Unforgiven in 7th place as he tries to close in. Victor is showing weakness. And if you show weakness to other pro sim racers, they will destroy you. They will go out of their way to destroy you. And Vodka Rob in the chat saying, good evening, sir. Why, hello, Vodka Rob. How are you? Never misses a stream, this man. Bless your good heart, my sir. If you haven't got better things to do with your life than to listen to me prattle on, I think it's great. Thank you. At the moment, Unforgiven right there, right on the back of the Red Bull of Victor. Is he going to go for a late break into the hairpin? No one is that crazy. Not even Unforgiven, as he tries to cotton on back against Victor. And Neil Farmack back ahead. Sorry, I have just noticed Neil Farmack is back ahead of the Briz. So what? Oh, how far back do we have to go? For heaven's sakes, you pair. Here it comes. It was a slow cook, ladies and gents. So Brisbane, just asking a little much from his Nissan, picking up a little dirt, and again more dirt. And Neil Farmack says, how much dirt do you want on your wheels, son? And he goes back through, and Brisbane slips down into 3rd place. And Toby, he can't capitalise on any of this. He is seeing this movement ahead of him, and it is absolutely killing him, ladies and gentlemen. He wants to be involved. Is that Neil Farmack going wide again? No, Brisbane, though, he's picked up a penalty, and this could be the release that Toby needs. Oh my word, Brisbane picked up a penalty. Neil Farmack, as he gets by, and Toby now is just in the queue. He's in the queue, ladies and gents, waiting. Or is he waiting? Is he going to try and make the move before the penalty zone? He wants it. He wants it. There's no room there, sir. There's no room there. He's going to do the cutback. No, he's going to sit in nicely. Brisbane pushing it out wide again, and that's the move done. Toby up and into third place, but Brisbane won't be sat and waiting around for that business. No, he's still trying to loom large in Toby's windows, but Toby, he's fine. There's a penalty that Brisbane's got to spend. That's half a second. And Smith getting ever closer. And Victor disappearing away from Smith. This could not have been written more sweetly for Agent Smith. It's only a point or so, and he needs 6 of them. And we're running out of rounds, so he wants Unforgiven really to get past his teammate, or Smith to get past Brisbane. A couple more of those penalties, and the Smith Meister might be in for a championship battle, ladies and gentlemen. So Brisbane, Toby, Neil Farmack and Bailey. Bailey absolutely hounding this track at the moment in his super looking Liquor Molly livery. Rob in the chat saying, I've been listening to the Stoke match on the radio, but it finished now 0-0 for everyone who wants to know out there, 0-0. Adam in the chat saying, good evening thingy, hello matey, Rob, A-up and Bart. And Vog Rob saying, evening Adam. Adam saying, here for the entertaining commentary as ever. Oh, bless you. I'm telling you, it's a hot championship. It's hot to go. Neil Farmack then, he has dropped back some way from the lead, and Toby, you know what Toby wants? Toby wants points. And it's a real threat, it really is. I don't know how many points he's set to drop in the championship, but I imagine his worst results was round 3. No, his worst results, sorry, was round 5 with a 3rd and a 6th. And that's how many points he'll be dropping at the end of the seat. No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong driver here. His worst results, sorry, are Toby's, are 3rd and 4th on the 2nd round. So that's still a lot of points to be dropping. And so Toby, he's got to consolidate that championship. He needs as many points in the group as he possibly can, as Bailey runs away from it. And Bailey, missing a round already this season, has no need to drop points, and he's something like 40 points behind. Bailey's something like, oh, it's a bit more, sorry, 38, 46 points behind Toby in the championship at the moment, but Toby set to drop a good 30 odd points, I think. It's tight. Brisbane then in 4th place, unable to live with them. Can Smith close in? 2 minutes 0.5 is his lap time. Brisbane's last time was a 2 minutes 0.1. So at the moment, Brisbane doing fine against the Smith. Victor struggling mid-race, it seems. Qualified strong, but slipped back with a few squirrely moments in the Nissan. Not liking the curbs, it would seemingly, but he keeps going on them. He's not scared of the curbs, even though the curbs have made him come unstuck on multiple times in this race. Unforgiven, setting chase. Don't forget, he is in this battle. He is fighting with these guys around him. And with no Grasshopper here, Fitzy dropping to the back, but Fitzy has made his way up and into 9th place now. The comeback is real. Kenny D just not finding the pace here at Suzuka. He's all over the shop, his lap times. And Grahamad Ali, a 2:01.9. Come on, Grahamad Ali, he's found it. He's found the pace around here, ladies and gents. Fitzy, 1:59.7, so fast. It's so unfortunate he had that first lap incident, and Toten as well, slipping from the pack and on his way back. Unforgiven, trying to put pressure on Victor. The 2 promoted people from last season are racing each other in 6th and 7th, and the points matter so much to the pair of them. Oh, it looks like Smith is catching up with Brisbane. We saw Brisbane was faster last lap around than Smith, but Smith closing in. We're coming up to the halfway point of the race, and there's still plenty of tales to tell in this one. Toby in 3rd, he needs the position ahead of him, but Neil Farmack's breaking the 59s at the moment, and Toby unable to get out of the 2 minutes a lap section. Bailey's destroying it. He's nearly in the 58s, ladies and gentlemen. Someone turned Bailey on. Someone came along and turned Bailey's button on, and he has been in beast mode ever since. He is unstoppable. My good golly gosh. Neil Farmack being a presence. He is in the podium shout, and Toby, he's in his way. But Toby just can't get close enough. He's broken the 2 minutes now, as Toby, a 59.7 and a 59.9 from Neil Farmack. So the comeback begins. Toby is on a build, ladies and gentlemen. He is building to a grand finale. Brisbane chasing them round. They have dropped Smith. Well, not dropped Smith. Smith's still thereabouts, but he needs Brisbane to pick up a penalty or two. Victor still behind Smith. Unforgiven, unable to crack that nut. But try as he might, he keeps pushing on to do so. The tyres are wearing away quite nicely. Not for Toten, though. Toten's tyres are a lot nicer than Unforgiven's and Victor's at this point. So Toten slowly closing in, back on Unforgiven and Victor. And yes, there's something here, ladies and gentlemen. There is a race to be had later in the day. Fitzy also on pace and tyres looking tidy. Don't count those two out. Muhammad Ali smashing the lap times, 2:01s on the reg. Kenny D has pulled a 2 minute out of the bag, but he's 2:08s, 2:04s. It's a strange, it's not consistent. Unlike this man, absolutely smashing another 59.4 and building up a more of a lead. Starting lap 9 of 13 as Neil Farmack, he seems to have it under control. He did a 2 minute of that one. Toby did as well. Oh my word. So Neil Farmack just keeping Toby exactly where he needs him. And Brisbane, he's closing in. He's closing in, but he's not got the pace, it seems, as Toby has when it matters. And Smith at the moment holding ground. But Victor's picked up a penalty. But Unforgiven's dropped really far back, and Toten's in the mix. Toten has come back into this race. He's introducing himself on lap 9. Hello, my name's Toten, and this position is mine. So Toten sat in 8th place, but I'm not sure if they're feeling the tyres, but the Toten's tyres are in a lot nicer state than Unforgiven's at the moment, and Unforgiven losing confidence in his Nissan, breaking into the corners. He's not right there with Victor, and this, look, Toten trying to get a nose in there. He is trying to make Unforgiven go defensive into the hairpin, which gives him a better drive out. This is his plan. He's hoping to get out of the corner a lot better than Unforgiven after he's made Unforgiven take a tighter corner, and it's working for him. He's right there. He's right there for the next braking zone, and this has been manipulated, ladies and gentlemen. Toten has truly played Unforgiven like a fiddle. Unbelievable. Unforgiven, you just got played. Sorry, son. So Toten up and into 7th place, and Unforgiven, there was nothing he could do, really. Toten had placed his car in a position to make Unforgiven take a tighter corner, and thus giving Toten the drive out of the corner. And Unforgiven, there was just nothing. He got played, I'm afraid. Nothing he could have done there. Lessons in pro sim racing, ladies and gentlemen. Take note, write that one down. Victor is in trouble. Victor's in trouble because Toten is absolutely lauding Suzuka right now. Nothing's changed at the top. Bailey leads. Neil Farmack in 2nd. Brisbane in 3rd. And Toten is absolutely destroying. Look at Victor's tyres. He's struggling with the tyres. Toten's got it all in his own command. His tyres absolutely tidy. And we're sat next to Toten as we see some absolute pro sim racing moves being pulled out there right now. Come on, Toten. He's from the same place as Victor. I wonder if they're friends. Like, you know, it's not is it Hungary? It's not like a huge place, is it? They're probably neighbours, because they've got the same flags. I bet they think the same with Union Jacks. I bet they see all the Union Jacks and think, oh, I wonder if they all know each other. So Toten, the Hungarians, I think it's Hungary flag. God hope it is. I'm not great with my geography. So Toten and Victor duke it out. Toten, oh, a squirrel from Toten. He can't get the accelerator down enough. And Victor, that might be a saving grace for him, giving him an opportunity now. Unforgiven is having this trouble from Fitzy. The tyres have let Unforgiven down. Too much turning angle, my friends. Pushing too hard in corners, and there he goes out wide, and it's easy pickings for Fitzy there as he comes through, and Unforgiven slipping down to 9th place as the tyres give up all hope. Can Muhammad Ali catch Unforgiven up at this rate? I tell you, he may do. Muhammad Ali in 10th, Kenny D. He's just not finding the sweet spot with the Nissan and Suzuka at the moment. Bailey absolutely planted another lap. Ladies and gents, he is well on his way to a victory. I mean, there's got to be something that he, like, beamed up by aliens or going off-road like a Lance Stroll. Something would terribly have to go wrong for this win not to become his. And at the moment, fastest lap. Neil Farmax pulled out a lovely space. Brisbane's back ahead of Toby. My good golly gosh. Yeah. Brisbane's got himself ahead. I apologise. Toby did a 2:01.0 last time, or a 2:02.8 on lap 9. Maybe the reasoning for that. Yeah, lap 9 was not a good one for Toby. I don't know if he's struggling with the tyres. It's the same as Brisbane's, but Brisbane seems to be more comfortable on a torn up set of tyres. And Agent Smith, can he do something about Tobias right now? Unbelievable stuff. Fitzy going, someone's going, Toten's going slow. Toten going slow, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look. Toten and Victor, we saw they were in, and oh, it looks like he give Victor. No, did he give Victor a knock? That is so helpful for Smith. Oh, what a shame. The fighting was so strong, but there must have been a knock there, or Toten felt like he'd touched Victor, and Victor then scrambling back on the track as Toten waits. Unbelievable. Oh, poor Victor. Poor Victor, but wow, great for us, ladies and gentlemen. That makes that championship extremely tight. Toten, though, dropping down as well. Unforgiven getting more places. These are the guys he's racing, isn't it? Toten, 10th on 124 points. Grasshopper, 9th on 126 points. Unforgiven, 8th on 131 points. Fitzy, 7th on 132 points. So yes, that little battle there is all important. Neil Farmack, absolutely great drive for second. He dropped behind Brisbane, but Brisbane making a small mistake, and Neil Farmack was there to pick it up and get himself back up and into second place. Doesn't look like he was ever a threat to Bailey today, but better than everybody else. Brisbane struggling with tyre wear now as Toby wants that position back, but Toby is struggling with the lap times also, and Smith, I think, is closing in. Smith wants another position. Fitzy up and into 6th place now, with Unforgiven in 7th, Victor down in 8th, which is great news for Smith, terrible news for Victor. Fantastic racing to be had for the rest of this championship, I tell thee. Toten as well, dropping points in 9th. Muhammad Ali in 10th. He's not that far behind. And lo and behold, if they have another moment, Victor and Toten, it's all going to go wrong. And Muhammad Ali is there to pick up the pieces. Lap 12 of 13, and Bailey has absolutely laid the law down today. He has not played. Neil Farmack in 2nd, Brisbane in 3rd, Toby in 4th. It's just Smith maybe closing in. We may still have a fight with Victor and Toten. Yeah, Toten back on the horse. He's back attacking the bull. And so Toten still wants the position away from Victor. He smells blood. Victor's tyres are cooked. And Toten's are still fresh as a daisy. It's just picking his moment. Can he do the same? No, he can't. I was going to say, can he do the same as what he did to Unforgiven in the hairpin? But he's got a good drive out of the hairpin. Victor, with his lack of grip, cannot get the traction, but he's got enough traction just to stay ahead of Toten. But Toten knows it's the corners where Victor is weak. And Victor now having to try and defend slow down, and that's it. It's easy for Toten. There you go, the grip's gone. Victor just couldn't get the Nissan slowed down in time, and that gave Victor the position easy with the nice tyres. And now he's got to set about Unforgiven, whom is quite a way up the road for a lap and a half. It's work, and Victor getting a tow. He's fine in a straight line. It's the corners. There's a struggle for Victor at this point with his tyres, and Toten, his tyres are fresh, man. They're so good. They're so good. Muhammad Ali in 10th place, not too far behind that battle. If they take each other out, Muhammad Ali is going to be picking up points, and Kenny D also, he's closing in on Muhammad Ali. But it's Bailey. It's all about Bailey today, ladies and gentlemen. Bailey and his championship come back. He is attacking. He is aggressive in his fight back for this championship. Neil Farmack and Brisbane taking points away from Toby, and so it's a dream scenario for both Bailey and Smith. Smith needing to find 6 points on his own teammate, and today it has fallen nicely for him, with Fitzy behind, Unforgiven behind him, Toten behind him, and then Senor Victor. That couldn't have worked out better for our man Smith. But it's Bailey, really. That's what it's all about. That'll be the headlines in the papers tomorrow. Is Bailey dominates again, and his championship. Bailey sets claim for championship. Bailey says there's still some life in the old dog yet. Bailey says, don't write me off so soon. Bailey answers the doubters. To see, there's a million headlines. And Bailey comes through Casio, and he probably wonders if there was another car in this race. And he really puts a dominant force in. Well done, Bailey. Great win. Neil Farmack, little shaky early doors against Brisbane, but he come back strong for second. Brisbane gets that final podium, which is a killer for Toby. And Toby just surviving ahead of Smith in fourth, Smith in fifth. Fitzy gets a great sixth after a shaky start. Unforgiven getting a seventh spot there. He probably didn't expect that, and it's happy days. Toten in the end slowing down. No, going across ahead of Victor. I think he was slowing down for Victor, but Victor deciding, no, all's fair in love and war. Muhammad Ali comes home in 10th, just ahead of Kenny D. Well done. Super racing by all, it has to be said. I like it. So Bailey breaks Toby's 5-win run in the sprints, and gets his second win in a row. Oh, he's had a few wins, don't worry. Bailey's had 4 wins, so he draws even with Toby as well. Now they've got 5 wins each. This championship is a real hot, ladies and gentlemen, a real hot. Neil Farmack in second. Fine drive from Neil Farmack, with Brisbane in third, and he probably feels he could have got that second place today. Toby dropping down into fourth, although he did start in fourth, but he did make his way up, and he'll be hoping, there is no doubt about it, he is going to have to try and get the win in the next race, and that is going to be pretty difficult. Mr. Smith from 8th on the grid found his way up and into 5th place, and it is a dream scenario, like I said, for Agent Smith, with Victor dropping so many places. Fitzy coming home in 6th after starting in 7th. Another fine drive. He dropped off of the world early doors, but fought his way back. Great drive. Unforgiven finishing in 7th after starting 9th. It's a good day's work, one would say. Good points against, well, he needs them against Fitzy as well, but he's got some on Toten. No Grasshopper, so it's all good for him. Toten coming home in 8th, and my word, he was absolutely wringing the neck of that Nissan early doors until he's coming together with Victor, which cost him. Victor, this is a nightmare for Victor at the moment. This is not how this race was supposed to go, and he'll be hoping to come back in that second race, which that should be. Is that pole? No, 10th is pole, I think. So he could be second on. No, he might be 4th or 5th on the grid. So he's in a great spot for the next race. But that tyre wear is a concern, isn't it? That tyre wear is a huge, huge concern. Muhammad Ali coming home in 10th place. And a great finish for Muhammad Ali ahead of Kenny D that just didn't seem to get his head around Suzuka today. Right then, one more race. And I have heard from the weatherman that it is going to be damp. It's going to be moist. So let's not shed. It's in collection. Let's have a look how wet she is. Sorry, that cough came through. I put my hand over my mouth and everything, trying not to. I do apologise. Ooh. Right then, don't look at the cheat sheet because that's terrible. Right, let me pause this so I can have time to get all my bits and bobs, because we've got to check out the tyres as well. Oh well, the tyres are going to be wet in there. I suppose there is no. I don't need that. I need that. Yeah, they're all going to be wet tyre. Well, I suppose maybe difference between wets and intermediates. It's looking wet. It looks like it's wet. It looks like they're all on the wet. So Victor is on pole. Sorry, 9th is pole. Then it's Muhammad Ali. Oh, top 8. Yeah, not top 9. So yeah. Victor, this is a great chance for him if the track is drivable. We don't know. Going into it, we don't know how drivable the track might be in wet weather. So Victor is on pole, and Muhammad Ali second, Kenny D. It looks like everyone's on wets. Toten in 4th. Unforgiven starts 5th on wets. Fitzy is in 8th on wets. Smith is on wets. I don't even know if we'll see a pit stop in this race. 7th for Toby on wets. 8th, sorry, for Toby. Yeah, Brisbane 9th. Neil Farmack in 10th. Bailey starting 11th. They're all on wets. We'll see. We'll see. I have no clue how this race is going to turn out. The mandatory pit stop, I assume, is out of the window with it being wet. So it might be, again, just a race to the flag if the fuel lasts. So there we go, Victor leading them away, Muhammad Ali and Kenny D. And in the wet, anything can happen, remember. Toten had pace in that first race, starting in 4th. That's going to be very strong, very strong. And then we have a whole host of cars down here where anything could happen. And already you see Bailey setting about Neil Farmack. Brisbane in amongst it all with Toby Smith. Fitzy in amongst all of that mist. Can he see anything? One wonders. Unforgiven in 5th. Toten closing in on Kenny D at the moment. Muhammad Ali, he's trying to stay with the back of Victor. Don't forget, they're feeling their way out for grip. None of them know, really. They may have done a couple of runs ahead of the race, but really you don't know until you go into the race where the grip is going to be. And at the moment, Victor is finding it nicely with Muhammad Ali being a little ginger around the track, and Toten right up his jacks. He's already got himself past Kenny D with Fitzy right in his wake. Smith in 6th, Toby in 7th, Brisbane in 8th. Big hitters down here. Bailey up already ahead of Unforgiven and Neil Farmack. So, oh, more movement. I don't know where though. There. It's Fitzy struggling with something, and that's let almost everyone past. Whoa, Toby nearly gathered him up there, coming around the corner, and Fitzy's struggling. Oh no, Fitzy just hit the wall, ladies and gentlemen. Fitzy struggling with grip for some reason out there, and Victor still leads with Muhammad Ali. Toten is up into 3rd, Kenny D slipping back as Agent Smith in 5th, Brisbane in 6th, Toby in now up into 7th with Bailey there in 8th place with Unforgiven 9th, and Neil Farmack catching up with Unforgiven now, and Neil Farmack, oh, there you can see it's a struggle. It's a struggle to see anything when you're in amongst the whole pack. And Unforgiven then ahead of Neil Farmack. We saw in the first race Neil Farmack finishing in second place, so he's got pace around Suzuka, but the wet weather really is throwing a huge spanner in the works as we see Unforgiven pulling away out of the corner, getting a better drive out of the corner than Neil Farmack there. Onto the brakes, into the first corner. Victor still leads from Muhammad Ali. Toten in third, and it looks to me like Unforgiven is closing in on Bailey. Bailey's got fighting with Toby though. There is vitage. Hang on. Toby and Bailey, the big boys, are hitting each other hard. Oh, did I ruin it all? I think I did. No, Bailey was behind Toby. He was coming up towards Toby, but Bailey's had a right one. Toby had a wiggle, but Bailey had a bigger wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And Neil Farmack up again ahead of Bailey, and Bailey struggling for grip. The rain must be getting harder and heavier out there. Toby then in seventh. Brisbane holding on to sixth with Agent Smith right there with Kenny D. Toten still not able to get past Muhammad Ali, and this is racing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic, with Victor leading from Muhammad Ali. Toten just cannot get the accelerator down. You see the back end kicking out every time he tries to make a move on Muhammad Ali. He's going around the outside, and Toten makes the move now. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. And Vodka Rob in the chat saying, I didn't realise until I watched our race back that I forgot to put traction control to 3, so I did the whole race with 0 traction. Well done, my friend. Vodka Rob and somehow Fluke P3. And Vodka Rob also saying 2 of the guys in League 2 ran out of fuel on the last lap. So, yeah, whoa, something moving. Muhammad Ali slipping back behind Kenny D. Kenny D going for the move, and Agent Smith is right in the mix of this as well as he tries to go in. There is a brave move on the brakes in a very fast corner, and he's on the curb. That'll be slippery as hell, but he survives. Beautiful stuff from Agent Smith there, and Muhammad Ali tucked up behind him, and Brisbane is now bringing the noise to the crowd. Unbelievable racing, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny D in third. Toten's going for an attack. Toten is going for an attack. They're rehashing the battle from earlier. The battle of the Hungarians has not over and finished. Toten goes through. Toten absolutely driving like a monster out there. Legendary drive. Senna-esque, people could say. And Victor then in second. Kenny D. Brisbane trying to make his way through. Someone slipping around down there. Who's dropping? It's not Bailey. It's Smith. Oh no! Stop the press. Agent Smith, we've been pushing this hole around, from nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely now in it. He just got a seesaw effect, and that puts him right down in 9th place. Still ahead of Unforgiven and Fitzy, who looks like he's got a little damage there. He must have hit something or someone. Toten then absolutely driving out of his skin. Victor losing the lead, and Kenny D fancies a piece of it. Kenny D around the outside. Unbelievable stuff with Victor struggling. He's struggling with the wet conditions, ladies and gentlemen. Victor finding the grip a hassle, and Kenny D is starting to harass and harangue our Hungarian driver. Brisbane then, solid drive so far in 4th place. He's bringing Toby along with him. Toby, he needs the points. And with Bailey dropping back, this is a perfect opportunity as Muhammad Ali's back end steps out on him, and Neil Farmack ahead of Bailey. Bailey with a face full of the Le Mans, the WEC representative. So Bailey in his Liquor Molly car cannot find a way past. There is a huge wall of Neil Farmack ahead of him, and there seems to be no shoe in, and there he goes around the outside. Beautiful. Grand gesture there from Bailey. Great drive. Neil Farmack then slipping with the grip and the traction. It looks like the rain is getting heavier, ladies and gentlemen. Smith then on a recovery drive, staying ahead of Unforgiven in 10th and Fitzy in 11th, having a nightmare in the wet here at Suzuka. Toten driving unbelievable ahead of Victor, and Brisbane now is up past Kenny D, and he is looking for scalps. He is on a... Have we ever invaded Hungary? Not since the olden days. But Brisbane is just about to destroy the good feeling between the Hungarians and the English. Whoa, Kenny D coming in there with immense pace, and oh no! Oh, I thought Victor's car had gone sideways. He definitely lacked grip. And did you see that? Did you see both cars going either side of him? You know we're getting in car for that, and you know, and then there's more hassle there. But oh God, what am I doing? Let's go back, because there goes the car. He grabs control, and then either side of him we have Brisbane, and we're going to carry on this because then something happened here. Oh, I don't think there was room for two cars, and it looked like Kenny D and Brisbane had turns giving each other little bumps, and I don't know what's going on there. Brisbane's trying to block, or he's just trying to slide out. But yeah, Kenny D ended up at the side of the road with the battlage between himself and Brisbane looking like he is just struggling for any kind of grip. And look who's turned up. Bailey around the outside of Sir Victor of Victor Lott, and Victor, there was nowhere for him to go. This is carnage, ladies and gentlemen. The weather is really sticking it to some of these guys. Toby, somewhere along the way, is up into second place that I missed. Toten, though, has himself a lovely gap. Toby up into second, Brisbane in third, Bailey in fourth, Grahamad Ali in fifth, Neil Farmack dropping down into sixth, Victor now in seventh with his teammate Agent Smith. There we go, the Red Bulls are at it again, ladies and gentlemen, and Agent Smith going for the move on Senor Victor, and I don't think there's anything Victor can do. Victor is struggling in the wet, and Smith easily up and into seventh place, with Victor slipping down to 8th, Unforgiven in 9th, Fitzy in 10th, Kenny D in 11th, Toten destroying all that comes ahead of him. And Vodkarov saying some hard battling going on out there, eh? Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be a steward. I just think it's the conditions. I don't think there's any malice in the driving, but I just think with the wet conditions and then the lack of grip, it's looking like carnage. But Toby, who's our championship leader, trying to thwart Bailey's attempts. Brisbane, I think he's a little too far out of the championship, but he still could play a major part in the championship come the end of the season. And Bailey, he just needs wins. He just needs wins and points. That's all there is to it. He can't mess about for the rest of the season. Grahamad Ali, unbelievable drive from Grahamad Ali at the moment, 5th place. And it's only the 3 championship leaders that have managed to get by him. Other than that, he has held his ground beautifully. Neil Farmack does fancy it, but Neil Farmack struggling with the grip out of the corners, and he can't seem to get any kind of traction. Smith ahead of Victor, which is what will make him happy. Other cars between them as well would be even better. We're on lap 5 of 12. It has been hard at it in the rain here. Unforgiven in 9th. He's fancying a piece of Victor as well. With Fitzy in 10th, he's some way behind Unforgiven, and in these conditions it's hard to see where you can make up the time. You've just got to hope that your teammate or the person you're chasing makes a mistake. Kenny D there. Imagine he'll be going up to the steward's office at the end of the race to ask him to have a look at what went on. Toten, though, unbelievable drive so far. Hey, we're on Toten. Toten would make the 6th different winner this season. That would be awesome. In the car that Brisbane drives. Toby keeping Brisbane in his pocket, and they've pulled away from Bailey, although Bailey was the fastest man around the lap before. It seems like he's lost a bit of ground to Brisbane and Toby. at this point. Neil Farmack has got himself ahead of Grahamad Ali, but still, I don't think he's got the pace to I mean, that's a 2:18 that Bailey pulled out the hat last time around. Neil Farmack's best 2:20, but I think Bailey made a mistake this lap, and it has brought Neil Farmack back into the fight. Grahamad Ali doing a super job at the moment. Agent Smith ahead of his teammate, and that is pretty much all he cares about. He's still surviving. He lost a lot of time early doors with a mistake in this race. Well, it didn't even look like a mistake, just looked like down the straight the car decided to point the other direction, and so he's had to really get his head down, get on with it, and luckily Victor, with his issues, has dropped behind the Smith. The inter-team battle at Red Bull continues on, ladies and gentlemen. And it's the championship battle that's cooking down here. And Toby at the moment chasing down Toten. Toten at 2:17.7 that last time around. Toby 2:17.1. We are dead on halfway, and they've got just over half a tank of fuel. I think fuel is going to be okay. I don't think we're going to see pit stops in this race. It's all the way to the end. Everyone's just got over half a tank of fuel, and we are on lap 6. So I think fuel may be okay. It's going to be tight come the last lap, but at the moment it is okay. Toby at the moment feeling pressure from Brisbane, who got the fastest lap last time out with a 2:16.8. Now I don't know if the track's getting faster or these guys are just finding a little bit more grip out there. Toby with a 2:17.1. Toten out there with a 17.7, playing survival, ladies and gents. Come on, Toten, we want to win. We want this win, Toten. We're all behind you. We love an underdog, and it'd be great to have our numbers of winners up to 6 this season, with Osman, Fitzy, Brisbane, Bailey and Toby. And Toten looking at the moment in a great place, but Toby will have something to say about it, I am sure, and he has still got another 6 or 5 laps to make something of it. But Brisbane at the moment is the man who is fastest on track, and Toby maybe should be more worried about what's happening behind him than what's happening in front of him. Bailey at the moment seesawing. Oh, a 2:20, there you go. That's why he dropped back from the battle. He was really on the back of them, but yeah, and that 2:20 would not be very helpful. Neil Farmack trying to get involved, but he can't get away from Grahamad Ali, who's just gone faster than he's gone before in this race. So Neil Farmack, it's like driving on ice out there. Agent Smith pulling away. Oh yeah, it's great for him, because Unforgiven now is ahead of Victor. Victor struggling with the wet weather. He is no rally driver, it turns out. So Smith then in a solid 7th place, with a person between himself and his teammate who he is fighting in the championship. This is great for Smith. This is a great round. Not so much for Victor. Kenny D, with his early woes, he was up there in the top 4, wasn't he? Fighting it out, but him and Brisbane came together, and they both ended up off the track, but Brisbane seemed to have just skirted and survived, where Kenny D, it all went terribly wrong. A yellow flag, ladies and gentlemen. A yellow flag for Grahamad Ali. Grahamad Ali having a spin out, and Victor goes through. Every point counts for Victor, and Kenny D coming up towards Grahamad Ali. What a shame for Grahamad Ali. He was doing so well, holding his place there in 5th and 6th. I thought this was going to be his highest finish of the season, with Toten looking very much in a solid position. Toby really is trying to get as close to him again. He's getting purples. Brisbane coming along for the fun. Bailey trying to get back on it again after losing so much time on lap 5. And then we've got Neil Farmack. He's around about 2, going faster again, with Agent Smith all in against his teammate. But it's Toby, it's Toten. This is the battle. Can Toten get the first win for himself this season in the NASCAR replica? And Toby, can he try and get maximum points as he possibly can against Bailey's fight for the championship? Bailey sat back in 4th place, and Toby really skirting it with the track. You've got to be careful if you're going to go out there in the wet. He might have wet tyres on, but they're still not that grippy on the curbs. And Toby having to be very delicate with his driving, and Brisbane might be able to smell a position here as Toby delicately tries to navigate the Nissan around Suzuka in what can only be called soggy conditions. They'd stop F1 at this point. F1 cars couldn't drive in this. That's how weak they are, ladies and gentlemen. So Toby at the moment struggling because Brisbane is definitely closing in, and Toby struggling with grip. My words. Lap 8 of 12, and this race is far from done, and Brisbane closing in on the championship leader. And this would be great news for Bailey. More points taken away from Toby is always good, as the Nissan nearly steps out on Brisbane, and then he gives Toby a wave goodbye, because that's how quickly it can be over. So Toby then, it was close. Brisbane was closing in, but got a little excited with his accelerator coming out the hairpin and found himself squirreling. Bailey, meanwhile, he just trying to close in on those guys ahead of him. He needs the points for his championship, but it's not looking, he's running out of laps. It looks like he needs these two. He would really like Brisbane to catch up Toby, and these two to start commencing a hard battle between each other to bring himself into this race. Neil Farmack in 5th. It's looking pretty safe for Neil Farmack at the moment. No one attacking him, and I just think he's too far back to mount an attack on the guys ahead. He's just got to hope that the wet conditions comes in his favour and ruins the guys ahead of him his race. Smith, he's doing fine. He's doing fine. He's in 6th, but he's ahead of his teammate. And at this point in the championship, that's all that counts. When there's only 6 points between you, then there's just nice, safe driving, nothing spectacular. Just get the job done is what Smith needs to worry about at the moment. Whoa, Smith, are you not listening? Nothing spectacular. Sensible is what is needed. Unforgiven at the moment, the buffer between the Red Bulls, and taking points away from Victor, which is great for the Smith. Muhammad Ali in 9th place goes faster than he's gone before. 2:17.4. Come on, Muhammad Ali, show us what you got. Kenny D in 10th place with Fitzy in 11th. Just not his race today. Fitzy not enjoying the wet. Toten, 2:17.1 last time out, still leading, and leading by a huge margin. I think he's pulled more out on Toby. Toby, 2:19.9 last time around, struggling. Brisbane with a 2:17.8, not struggling. The differences, do you see? It's nearly 2 seconds struggling and not struggling. But Brisbane then, oh, can he do something? Can he make this championship even tighter than it already is? By taking points away from Toby and putting Bailey and Toby together on the track. Unbelievable. No, because every time Brisbane tries to mount an attack on Toby, the track says no. He loses all traction coming out of corners, and he just can't close in on Tobias right now. Bailey in 4th, Neil Farmack is 5th, Smith 6th, Unforgiven 7th, and Victor in 8th. Toten leading at the moment, has led for a majority of the race. It has been banging, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely cooking. Toby though, it's looking a little shaky for Toby at the moment. Can he get back into the swing of those lap times? The grip just not there for him, and Bailey is closing in. Lap 10, we're starting lap 10 of 12. I was sounding confident with that one. A 17.2 from Toby that time around. 18.1 from Brisbane. So Toby, it's a seesaw. It's where he keeps going out there. I think he's losing the time, but that one not too bad. That was not too bad, but yeah, Toby really playing risk with those curbs at the moment around Suzuka. I thought he'd be giving them a huge berth, staying way away from them, but no, the man just is a sadistic kind of guy that likes no grip. Brisbane, meanwhile, trying to close the gap on his... Oh, and I thought Brisbane had lost the car for a second then. As they come down the hill, Bailey, a 17-0 last time out. He is slowly, ladies and gentlemen, closing up on that action ahead. Neil Farmack in no man's land doing what Neil Farmack does. He's going to get points and save himself from relegation and live again in the League of Champions next season. Smith's closing in, you know. Smith is closing in on Neil Farmack. 18-7 from Neil Farmack last time out. Smith doing an 18-0. More points, Smith says. More points are needed. I want a couple of people between myself and the victor. So Neil Farmack, he's going to have a tough end of the race because Agent Smith is on a push. He's on a rush and a push. Toby, meanwhile, second place ahead of Brisbane. Brisbane is stalking his prey, ladies and gentlemen. He is hunting down a Tobias. Bailey cannot impact anything in this race. He's just hoping something can happen between the two ahead of him. And they are both driving very sensibly. Why is Toten suddenly in the picture? That's scary. He had a lovely gap. He had a lovely gap coming into the last couple of laps. He has no lovely gap anymore. Toten, what go on? 2:18, that's not bad. That's not bad. 2:18s. Toby's 16-0. Oof. Toby just absolutely destroyed the lap time around here at Suzuka for the wet. And now Toten, he's got to stay calm. Do not let that fastest lap shock you, or the fact that the blue arrow on your radar is getting ever... Oh, Toten! It happened, ladies and gentlemen. He got into his own head. Oh my jeez. And Toby goes through into the lead. Brisbane up into second against his teammate, and Toten, it all comes unravelled on lap 11 of 12. Can you believe it? Oh no, poor Toten. And it's Toby now that's leading the race ahead of Brisbane. Toten. Oh, poor Toten. Bailey there in fourth, and he can't allow this. He can't allow two people to finish between himself and Toby at this point in the championship. But Toten, Brisbane's teammate, taking points away from Bailey, helps Brisbane out. There is so many equations going on this track. It's like a mathematical puzzle, ladies and gentlemen. Neil Farmack in fifth. Well, it's easy for him. He needs points. He doesn't want to get relegated. Simples. Smith ahead of Unforgiven, whom is ahead of Victor. So the math so far is working for Smith, but Smith closing in on Neil Farmack. And if he could get ahead of Neil Farmack right now and put two people between himself and Victor, would be an absolute gem of a race, no matter where you finish. Grahamad Ali in ninth. Kenny D closing in on our Graham, but not quite there yet. Not our Graham, our Grahamad. And Fitzy in 11th. Toby, though, meanwhile, that 2:16 shook Toten to his very foundations. He couldn't even believe what he was seeing. He drove off the track looking at his screen at the 2:16.0 and thought, how the hell, how on earth did Toby pull out a 2:16.0? That, ladies and gentlemen, is why he's the championship leader. And that is why everyone, like Brisbane and Bailey, are struggling to usurp him and his dominance. So Toby goes into the final lap in the lead. Brisbane up and into second. Toten in third. And Toten will not let Bailey pass on the final lap. So Bailey's championships, this one, it's not what he needed. What's going on up here? I thought there was two cars near each other. No. Neil Farmack in fifth. Smith trying to close in, but it's the final lap. He needs Neil Farmack to make a mistake, and at the moment Neil Farmack is driving by the numbers. He ain't playing, and Smith just has to look at the back of that Nissan and hope. Unforgiven, a solid drive for Unforgiven, really. Down in 7th, he's chipped away at it. He's made places, but, you know. And Victor, there's not much you can do in the rain, in all fairness. You've just got to hope you can stay on the track and hope other people throw it off. So, like Fitzy and Kenny D. Although Kenny D's might have been helped with Brisbane, I'm unsure. Muhammad Ali did it to himself. Looked like Victor did that one to himself as well. Unforgiven. I haven't seen him. Oh, he had a real shaky one right at the very beginning, did he not? I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Smith is closing in on Neil Farmack, but I think it's all a little too late now as Toby makes his way around Spoon. Brisbane, he's not going to mount an attack at this point in the race, too far back. Toten ahead of Bailey. Bailey trying to catch Toten up, but it's just all a little too late for him. He needed Toten to go off, not slightly off. The closest race really is the Neil Farmack and Agent Smith race, and I think Neil Farmack has got it together. He's got no concerns really about the Smith. Smith pushing so hard, the back end stepping out. That was his last opportunity, and I think he just blew it. Now we've got Toby coming through Casio around the final corner, and like a true championship leader, he has stamped his authority. He has answered Bailey. He has won. Brisbane comes home in 2nd place. Toten gets a consolation prize of a podium, with Bailey coming home in 4th place. Neil Farmack, solid drive at the moment with pressure from Smith at the end, grabs himself a great 5th place. Smith 2 places ahead of his teammate in 6th. Unforgiven, a solid drive home for 7th, beating his fellow promoted driver from last season, Victor. Great drive from Unforgiven. Victor in 8th. It's been a terrible round for Victor, really, in all fairness, the amount of points he's lost to Smith. Muhammad Ali finishing in 9th. That might be his highest finish of the season, with Kenny D in 10th, and Fitzy having an absolute nightmare. Oh, and Bailey got fastest lap in the end. Well spotted, Rob. Bailey got a 2:15.7. Absolutely ridiculous. And do you know what I say? And I've always said, with racing, when they go in on the last lap and put the fastest lap in, where was that at the beginning of the race then, Bailey? Eh? Where were those 2:15s when you needed them? Oh, he's got no fuel on board. It was absolutely empty. Oh, and it looks like he slowed down on lap 11 just to do the fastest lap. Looked like he did a 2:20 on lap 11 to save fuel, just so he could do a fastest lap on lap 12. It's a point, I guess. Very clever, big-brained move by Bailey there. Big-brained move. Great drive. Great drive by everyone. Unbelievable round. I want to tell you where the next round is. I think it's Trial Mountain. Or if we've done Trial Mountain, then it's Deep Forest. It's one of those ones. It'll be Trial Mountain because we've done Deep Forest. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. What an absolute banger of a round here at Suzuka for round 8 of the Ultimate Racing League, the GRSC Season 1 League of Champions. Wow. Yeah, Deep Forest it is, Vodka Rob. No, we've done Deep Forest. Deep Forest was round 2. It's got to be Trial Mountain. I'll open my phone. That'd be the easiest thing. The American one. What, Watkins Glen? Give me 2 ticks. Shakes of your lammy's tail. I'll tell you. I'll find it. I've got a hotline straight to the URL. Tables. He just posted some tables. I could tell you what the table is. I know I always do the table at the beginning, but they've updated I'm so slow. Yeah, it's Trial Mountain, and then there's one endurance race where they've not announced where it is. So, yeah, Trial Mountain next. Yeah, I'll save that championship, but all I can tell you is 3rd place in the championship is they're both on 177 points, and they both drive for the same team. Hey! Oh, hot schnizzle, my nizzle. All right, and thank you for tuning in here for the Ultimate Racing League. I was Thingy, you were you, and we had a great time. Peace and love. Peace and love.